Young Drunk.
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Missionaries, it is March, which
is.
means that it is Women's History Month, or here on the Micheaux Mission, Black Women's History Month. And in celebration, we are reviewing 4 outstanding films that feature Black women in front of and behind the camera. And we're leading with a film that stars 4 outstanding actresses in a film that has grown to become an iconic piece of cinema, period.
Foundational.
Absolutely. And one of the more successful book adaptations. As we review Angela Bassett, Whitney Houston, Loretta Devine, Layla Rashawn in director Forrest Whitaker's adaptation of Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale.
Shoop, shoop.
Vincent's selection for tonight's stop on the Micheaux Mission as we stream live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to all points north, south, east, and west, including YouTube, where each and every one of you are out there in the chat. Hello, Missionary.
Good evening, one and all.
We come to you once again, unfortunately, with a heavy heart here at the Mission Control.
Yeah, you live long enough, unfortunately.
Yes, as one of the true legends of Hollywood passed away recently. That is Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 95 years young last week.
Yeah.
Along with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, or partner, I guess, to be more correct, who passed away also at the age of 63. We're not going to go into, how they passed away, because there is some conjecture about that is out there. You can read stories about that, but the main thing is that one of the leading stars of the 20th century in Hollywood has passed away. Gene Hackman, who actually had retired from film over 10 years ago. So he had kind of like stepped away, but left an indelible mark.
Yeah.
On Hollywood. I know Gene Hackman is a favorite of yours.
Yeah, look, he was an actor's actor. He was an actor's actor. We've spoken about him once on the Micheaux Mission because he was a huge part of a film that we enjoyed a great deal, The Split, with
Jim
Brown and a bunch of stars. But yeah, we were talking a little bit before the camera started about our favorite performances, and
yes,
and certainly I'd say my favorite is The Conversation.
Okay, The Conversation, Francis Ford Coppola.
Francis Ford Coppola film, The Conversation. But truth be told, I probably met Gene Hackman the way many people in Gen X met Gene Hackman, and that was as Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay.
In Superman, which is a performance that has aged remarkably well.
Yes.
Like you watch it as an adult and you understand the humor and the wit that he brought to this role. But certainly we were talking just about some programming, and I had already got in my mind, we kind of program months in advance, but I love him in Crimson Tide.
Oh, yeah.
With Denzel Washington. And I love him in what many people see as the unofficial sequel to The Conversation, which is Enemy of the State with Will Smith. And, certainly you think about him. I mean, look, we sit here all day, The French Connection, I just lost what I was about to say.
I don't know which movie you're...
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven, yeah, the Clint Eastwood movie.
My goodness. And I know you...
Man,
just
I can tell you, you mentioned about The Conversation, which is an outstanding piece of film work. And if you are a fan of Gene Hackman, it's different to see him in that movie because it's a lot quieter.
Right.
In that movie.
Right.
You know, you talk about meeting him as Lex Luthor, where he's a little bit off the top, you know, he's over the top, you know, having fun in that film. I met him as Clyde Barrow's brother in Bonnie and Clyde.
Sure.
And which is a different type of role, but he's not loud in that. French Connection, Popeye Doyle, great film. But actually, as I was thinking about it, and you mentioned it, talk about your love or our love of Crimson Tide, and about how he was one of the few actors who actually goes toe to toe with Denzel Washington. Acting,
right,
in a film.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, my favorite performance of Gene Hackman, and this is why he's an actor's actor, because you think about him and you know his face.
Right.
Yet somehow, despite you knowing his face, he totally becomes whatever role he is
Completely vanishes.
And you just see him in that role.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my favorite performance of Gene Hackman is actually in The Firm, which is
interesting.
Which is the Tom Cruise legal drama.
Yeah.
Where Gene Hackman plays kind of like this real swarmy attorney who kind of like recruits Tom Cruise to this, like, you know, evil firm, right? But over the course of that film, as swarmy as he is, you get to see his true humanity inside him, as that, you know, he realizes that he has sold himself to the devil, and he's fighting those demons within him, and ultimately he has to pay a price for that at the end, but not without totally sacrificing his humanity. I don't want to give away an 80-year-old film in there,
Sure.
But a lot of what he does in there is not so much written on the script. It's all in just his performance.
Sure.
All in how his line delivery, all in his chemistry with the actors in there. And I actually think, like, every time I return to The Firm, that's the performance I'm watching. Tom Cruise is excellent. There's a lot of excellent performances in that film, but that's the performance I always return to. So, but
yeah.
Firm.
You know, and it's we've blessed that he's left this body of work.
Oh man,
that we can return to. And you know, speaking of body of work, the other great loss this week is of course Angie Stone.
Yeah, man.
And you know, you want to talk about
that?
Foundational and people who are just part of the fabric. I think Angie Stone, unfortunately, is someone that over the years I always say, oh, I forgot that was Angie Stone. Oh, I forgot that was Angie Stone. And you know, between Angie Stone and her early hip hop bona fides, how much she did with D'Angelo, the development of D'Angelo, her own solo work. And then I was reminded this week, because I always forget, she was the lead singer in Vertical Hold.
Oh, Vertical Hold? Was that her? I thought her group was Sequence.
No, she was in Sequence.
Oh, okay.
But she was also in Vertical Hold.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She's a singer in Vertical Hold.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you know what? Angie Stone, we've talked about this before, going over like the eras of like singers and things. And we're going to be talking about one of the singers, Whitney Houston, tonight. Like, there are some singers whose star rises so brightly, shines so brightly, and their star rises so high that they totally eclipse, you know, what's underneath. And underneath doesn't really get to shine as much. And I think Angie Stone, unfortunately, falls in that category, because, like, you talk about her hip hop bona fides, but she's also out there at the same time as Mary J. Blige is blowing up. Right. She's kind of like, to me, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think she sometimes gets lost in that mix of when Alicia Keys and India Arie are kind of like going at it.
Sure.
You know, and you know, she worked with D'Angelo and is helping him blow up. She does a couple of other things with other people, helps them blow up. Well, who else did that same type of career and work for them? And that would be Missy Elliott. So
Right.
she kind of gets lost in the shuffle, I think, and doesn't really get her just due because of just these others.
Right.
And I didn't even mention Beyonce.
Right. And I do think, much like we mentioned Gene Hackman's being an actor's actor, I think Angie Stone was very much your favorite singer's favorite singer.
See, but you know what? She's your favorite singer, and yet she's not. Because I would contend that during her time, your favorite singer was Lettucey.
Oh, but I think Lettucey's favorite singer was Angie Stone.
Okay, but everybody else was following.
Right.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that it is such a shame.
Yeah.
Because and I know it is a shame because the morning when I found out that she passed away, I immediately went to like the trade websites to see what they got to say about Angie Stone. She was nowhere on their websites.
Well, I also think she was ours.
Well,
like that actually that doesn't surprise me at all.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't, but on those websites they talked about somebody else who passed away that same day, David Johansen, who was Buster Poindexter.
Yeah, right from
he passed
New York Dolls. Yeah,
he passed away the same day.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hear you, but I'm just saying it wasn't till later in the afternoon that she makes it to those trades. She was ours.
Right. I think that says more about the trades than Angie Stone, frankly.
Very true. Very true. You've got a good point.
Right. You mean middle-aged white men knew about someone who was part of the New York New Wave 70s scene more than Angie Stone?
Imagine that.
I'm glad I'm sitting.
Well, Gene
also leaves a body of work.
Yes.
Rest in peace. Yes. Condolences to all of the families.
Well, certainly. All right. Now it's time to hear from you, all of our missionaries, which means your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries. So what else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries, Vincent. We have an email from Terry Plain.
Hey, what's up, Terry?
Top 5 black witches is the subject line. Dear Len and Vince, I so enjoy the movie review of Wicked. I heard your selection of top 5 black witches and agreed with all but one.
Okay.
I would not consider Letty from Lovecraft Country a witch. Yes, she did participate in casting spells, but she was not in a mode of practicing witchcraft. Now, I would like you to consider a few more black witchcraft characters who could easily replace Letty.
Okay.
Going back to American Horror Story, Gabby Sidibe was a powerful witch as a human voodoo doll, where she could inflict pain on herself, but others would feel it. Okay.
I'm going to take your word for it because I don't mess with American Horror Story.
I've never watched the show myself either.
I find the commercials disturbing.
They are a little bit, yes. They're too well done.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not watching this at all.
Why would I do this to myself? Exactly. Number 2.
So we'll take your word for it.
Okay. Number 2, Zoe Kravitz as Letta Lestrange in Fantastic Beasts of the Harry Potter universe, a pure-blood witch in a notorious family that included Bellatrix Lestrange and Sirius Black.
I will take your word for that as well because I have no interest in that film.
No, neither do I. So, last.
Okay.
In the Disney series Descendants, China Anne McClain played Uma, daughter of Ursula the Sea Witch. She inherited her mother's powers over the seas.
I'm going to give you that one because my daughter rocked with Descendants real hard when she was like 12.
Okay.
Like she rocked with Descendants real hard.
All right.
And I would like see her watching it and it was all very bizarre. It was like, look, it was girls in weird colored wigs and they were doing dances.
Yes.
Like they were doing dances and China Anne McCloud were doing dances. I was like, wow, there's a lot going on in Descendants.
Okay.
So there you go. We're going to take your word for 2 of them, and I'm going to co-sign 1 of them because my daughter, when she was 12, rocked with it real hard.
All right. Onward and upward. Sincerely, Terry Plain. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
All right. Let's see. What do we got next here? We have an email from, there is no name. Oh, okay.
I said, oh no, it's anonymous.
No. It's I had to see it all the way down to the end.
I hate you all.
Juan Blaylock.
Hey, Juan.
Hello from Houston.
Hey.
First, I want to say you two have been a godsend.
Oh, thank you.
I moved from Los Angeles to Houston last March to care for my mommy, and you guys got us through the 2-day road trip. I had you on in the background while I worked and cared for her. We both laughed at the acrimony.
Lynn, I am showing Medea's family reunion to my class. Mm-hmm. There is nothing on earth like showing a Tyler Perry movie to a room full of 20-year-olds who've never seen a Tyler Perry movie.
Wow, I would think, I guess that's not his audience, yeah.
Believe it or not, a room full of white, Asian, Indian, and 4 black kids have never actually seen a Tyler Perry movie.
Wow, how are they enjoying it?
It's a lot of gasp. There's a moment where Medea beats her foster child, played by young Keke Palmer. Like, she grabs her and actually takes her belt and starts giving her a whooping. And people in my class said, "Ooh."
Yes.
But acrimony.
And she says her mother even tried to play 6 Degrees of Derval Martin.
Nice. Oh, okay, Mom.
Okay.
Coming to King, you bet not miss.
Well.
All right, come on, challenge.
Well. Unfortunately, by July, she was gone, and Joanne was devastated. But she continues. But your show was one of my comforts that helped me. You guys feel like family in a time when I felt so alone. Never underestimate the importance of what you guys do. You're not just reviewing movies, you're educating, comforting, and feeding our souls. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And so sorry for your loss, too.
Indeed. Now, about that top 5 movies you'll never again do. I've had a list like this for over 10 years. So these are my top 5 movies I'll never watch again or ever.
Okay.
Number 5, 12 Years a Slave. Nope.
No. That's fair.
That's fair.
That seems like a one and done.
You know what?
That seems like a one and done.
Only because of this
show. At some point, I'm going to watch it, and I suspect that when it's over, I'll say, "Well, I watched that."
Right, because
I have not seen it.
I've seen it.
No, I told you my cousin called me, texted me an hour, and she said, "An hour in, still a slave."
Jawan continues. Number 4, Life. Saw it, hated it. It's a horror story.
If you think about Life more than 30 seconds.
It is kind of messed up.
Yeah.
It is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Players Club. Piss me the F off.
12 Years a Slave is about chattel slavery. Life is about unfair incarceration and the beginnings of the prison industrial system. Players Club was just shitty.
Number 2, 4 Colored Girls. Nope. Someone had it on and I was forced to watch it for 30 minutes. Sweet Jesus, it was awful.
Yeah, it's not his best outing.
And number 1,
tackle that.
Precious. I have managed to never see it, and I plan on never seeing it. I cannot with the black trauma.
That's fair. Precious is tough. And I like Precious.
It is tough.
But Precious is tough.
It's tough. We did it.
Yeah, Precious is tough. But Gabrielle Sidibe and Monique are excellent in that film.
And I said it during our review. I think as good as they are, I think Mariah Carey is good in that film.
Mariah Carey is good.
And I also
Kravitz is very good in that.
And I also think Paula Patton's good in that film.
It's the best thing Paula Patton's ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand not signing up.
We understand, Jawan.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love y'all. Keep taking care of us like you do, Jawan Blaylock. Well, you're very welcome.
Very welcome. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We don't take that lightly. So thank you.
Amen. Okay. We have another email, Vincent. This is from Nicole Court.
Hey, what's up, Nicole?
Good evening, Len, Vincent, and the missionaries. For all intents and purposes, this email is going to be silly and in fair fun, just to throw that out there.
Okay, good.
I want to play a game where I decide a fitting nickname for Len based on my listening activity of the Micheaux mission. I have a couple already, but I would love to hear yours. Okay. I'm going to go from 5 to 1. She's got 5 here. Number 5. TV Guide Len. Len always has his ear to the media world pertaining to black entertainment. He's also a producer, too.
There you go. Fair.
Number 4. Old Man Len. I don't know what it is. Len has a grandpa appearance about him, but it's still hip and cool, so points for Len. Well, I am a grandfather.
If that's and you are hip and cool.
Okay.
There you go.
Some would argue with that.
There you go.
My partner would argue with that. Number 3. Quiet Storm Len. Len's voice can be played if you are having a hard time going to sleep. His voice is soothing, and it makes you want to shut your eyes for a minute.
Oh.
Well, you're welcome, Nicole. Number 2.
Sorry, calling you Frankie Crocker.
Number 2. Justice League Len. Len is a comic book nerd after all, and we know he loves Batman. It just so happens I'm wearing a Batman sweatshirt.
Who'da thunk?
I rarely whip out.
It's a pretty deep cut too, because it's actually a Batman insignia from Batman '66.
It very much is. Yes.
Nerd.
Nerd. And number one, Cheese Bite Len. Len's love for pretzel bites with cheese on the side could also mean Philly cheesesteaks as well. This email is random and goofy, but I wanted to have fun. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
Well, thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. I think they all apply.
Look.
There you go.
She knows.
Yes, she does. All right. The hits just keep on coming. We have an email. This. I hope Toya is listening. Our good friend Toya. Hi, Len, Vincent, and missionaries. This email may get to you.
Who's it from?
It's from Nicholas.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Hi, Len, Vincent, and missionaries. This email may get to you today, 2 weeks from now, or even 2026. But I don't know whether I want to celebrate with whiskey, light some candles, or burn something on the grill because you both are reviewing a big movie, Waiting to Exhale. It's like you both opened Pandora's Box, a film that is popular in the black community. Let me crank the soundtrack, a movie that is still fresh 30 years later.
Okay.
The other day, I listened to the solo works of Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, and Bobby Brown of New Edition.
Okay.
How would you both rank the solo debut albums of Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, and Bobby Brown? The reason why I didn't add BBD was because they were a trio or group, so they did not count. I would rank them as Johnny first, then Bobby, then Ralph. Happy Women's History Month on the mission, Nicholas. Okay. Johnny Gill's first.
Isn't that Chemistry?
I got to look that up.
Yeah, that's the one where he's in the tuxedo, sitting at the piano.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one with Half Crazy on it. He's got the Jerry curl. Is that called Chemistry?
I'm looking it up. Yeah. No, well, yes. That is his first album, 1984. Okay, that's his first album.
Yes, it's his first album. It's his debut album.
Okay, well, no, because I was then looking Perfect Combination, but that is not him.
That is on Stacey Lattisaw's album.
So Stacey Lattisaw. So Chemistry.
Love Plus You and Me.
Love Plus You and Me, yes. Chemistry, which does have Half Crazy.
That's right. I think that might be the only hit on it.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm looking at here. Can't Wait Till Tomorrow. Don't Take Away My Pride. One Small Light. Yeah, I don't know any of those albums. Well, you know what? Now that I'm seeing that, I can't put Johnny as number one. I can't put Johnny over Bobby's first album.
Oh, not at all. I don't think Chemistry is better than Ralph Tresvant's first album.
See, I don't remember all of Ralph's or.
Yeah, and Bobby's first album.
I mean, first
because I do get him because Bobby's first album is
Bobby's first album is My Prerogative.
No, he had an album before that.
Hold on.
Yeah, Bobby's first album is the one with I Need a Girlfriend on it.
Bobby Brown. Let's look him up. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you.
Because I think Bobby is the second album with My Prerogative and all the stuff on it.
Bobby's first album is, King of Stage.
King of Stage.
Jesus.
What's on King of Stage besides Girlfriend?
Girl Next Door. Your Tender Romance.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah.
Baby, I Want to Tell You Something.
Yeah, this is actually a trick question.
This is a very trick question.
This is actually a trick question.
I mean, Ralph might actually be top all of these.
I didn't want to say anything because I do get the songs mixed up between King of Stage and is it called My Prerogative?
His second album?
Yeah, the album with everything on it.
No, that's Don't Be Cruel.
I get King of Stage and Don't Be Cruel mixed up.
Yeah.
But I think that
okay, so first of all, now we've confirmed that all three solo albums really only have one hit. So
right. So
if you're comparing the hits, Half Crazy, Girlfriend versus Sensitivity.
Yeah.
Well, Sensitivity is the bigger hit of the three.
And if you said album, so like I'm like the whole album. And I'm going to say, as somebody,
I barely remember any of the whole album.
I've listened to all three of those albums.
Okay, then which one would you say is better?
Cut, I think Ralph Tresvant's album is better than Chemistry and King of Stage?
King of Stage.
Yeah.
Okay, then let me ask you this, because I'm sure I've listened to it. I definitely don't remember Ralph's first album.
Yeah.
What's the other cut on there? Not that's a hit, but that you liked.
I don't even remember. Don't even get me to lying. Somebody just said "Do What I Gotta Do" is on his first album too. I think it's Toya.
Ralph Tresvant.
Yeah, I think it's Toya. Because remember, that's Toya's thing. They kept releasing ballads.
Yes, and of course it is Toya.
Yeah, it is actually Toya.
Of all the shows episodes she'd be watching, she was like, her New Edition light went off. Then I think you got to go with Ralph. How many people would say that? Because everybody, I guarantee,
I know,
everybody thinks Bobby's first album is "Don't Be Cruel."
Everybody thinks Johnny Gill's first album is whatever that album was with "Rub You the Right Way." Is that called Johnny Gill?
No, they don't think that's his first album. Because you knew Johnny was a name before that.
Yeah, but the only reason anybody knew Johnny Gill was Perfect Combination.
But I'm Half Crazy. Half Crazy was a hit on Quiet Storm.
I was about to say, Hit is doing a lot of work in that sentence saying it's
Quiet Storm, but you knew it was an album.
Right, like you
knew he had an album.
Like you knew Johnny Gill was a guy, but I don't know.
He had an album.
Right. He had the Jerry curl. He was sitting at the piano.
And he had an album.
He went to Men's Warehouse and got a tuxedo like he was going to the prom.
Well, he did.
And he had a Jerry curl.
He was a professional prom goer. We all know that.
Was it like a red? He had like a red bow tie.
Yes.
Like he looks really 1984.
Yes. He actually looks like he is at the prom.
That's right. Chemistry. Don't tell me I don't know my R&B.
But no, the trick question, you're right, is that
it's a trick question.
Nobody would think that Ralph Tresvant's solo album is better. Debut.
We said debut.
That is a very trick question.
That's right.
All right. Well, look at Ralph did something,
Look
Ralph.
at Ralph.
Your bad self.
I guess you do need a man with sensitivity. A man like me.
Not like you. Damn sure don't need your ass. Hell no. All right. So thank you for that email, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Good question. Good trick question there. All right. Let's move on. We have an email from Michael Sykes.
What's up, Michael?
Hey, Len and Vincent. I recently listened to y'all episode on the 5 Heartbeats.
Nice.
Which was episode 50 or 100, I think.
Yeah.
And all I got to say is Vincent said it was a great movie, which it is. But Len, being Len, called it, it's okay. Damn. The way you, Len, bashed this one, I honestly worried about what y'all think of Boys in the Hood, Judas and the Black Messiah, Till, and The Great Black Hope. Well, you had 3 very good movies until you got to The Great Black White Hope, which I haven't a clear memory of. So anyway, Len, regarding the close-up shots you mentioned and how the scene could have been improved, it couldn't happen after watching the 2018 documentary on the making of the 5 Heartbeats. It became clear that 20th Century Fox was pressuring Robert Townsend regarding both timing and budget. I'm sure the shots and the acting that didn't resonate with you were also challenging for him, but he was working under tight constraints. Almost ever scene that they were to cut out, I think what he means is almost every scene that they cut out, he had to fight to the nail to get it not cut out. What JT said about crossing over is word for word what one of the Dells said to Robert Townsend during the set. Mm-hmm. To me, the 5 Heartbeats is warm feeling movies that I love. I mean, everybody has their opinions. We still cool. Love, your fan. Michael Sykes. Okay.
There you go.
You're welcome to your opinion.
There you go.
Stay tuned for our review of Waiting to Exhale. As we continue on, we now move on to an email from Maurice Poplar.
What's up, Maurice?
Who has a, hey, gents, R.I.P. Gene Hackman, sadly one of the few Hollywood actors that has clearly had no problem doing films with black people. Hackman's filmography is decidedly full of diversity, and if you compare it to other white actors from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, Hackman was outstanding in the business. Kudos. Something has been in my crawl regarding the richness of Regina King and Coleman Domingo. If you missed it previously on the Micheaux Mission, Vincent said
I did
that Regina King and Coleman Domingo were too rich
to work together.
To work together in a rom-com.
Yeah, I did. I did say that.
To which Maurice says, Mr. Williams, let me pitch you.
Okay.
A heist film where Regina King and Coleman Domingo are a high-end art thief couple, and Regina books them on a cruise that Coleman realizes is a prospective job to steal from his wife's old flame, played by Denzel Washington. Meanwhile, an FBI agent is hot on the King Domingo couple's trail because, of course, Viola Davis isn't just trying to arrest the fugitives, she's also Coleman's jilted ex. Will Denzel get the drop on the King Domingos before they get the drop on him? Will old flames be stirred? Will Viola Davis get her man? This would be fun, funny, and fire. Would that still be too much?
Yes. Yes.
You don't.
And to be clear, Regina King was hilarious on Saturday Night Live, but she was surrounded by basically her lessers.
Okay.
To help her. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't see Madcap.
You don't see that being, you don't think that they could pull that off. Those 4 actors.
I don't.
I think that would be hilarious. And I think they would love it. I think they would absolutely love it.
Well, I hope you all prove me wrong and the four of them work together and do something madcap. I do. Like, I love you. Sure. I could be wrong. I have no problem being wrong.
Maybe we can book them for Only Murders in the Building.
I don't know. Do they let black people play on that show?
No, they don't.
That seems like a whites only show.
No, they don't.
I don't even know if we're allowed to watch that.
You know, that's a good question. Good question. I never see it offered to me on Hulu.
Right. Right.
They keep offering me Boys in the Hood.
Right.
And Straight Outta Compton.
Right.
That's all I ever see.
Right. Right.
Thank you, Mo. All right. The email says,
and like white people really get into it.
They do.
Like white people really like Only Murders in the Building.
It's not bad.
It's like grown-up Friends.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Like I was really into Friends in the 90s.
It is.
And now I'm older.
I watched the first 2 seasons of it, and then I was like, okay, I've seen it. I don't need to see it anymore. And I haven't.
Okay.
I've not returned to the building for any further murders.
And I really like Steve Martin.
I love Steve Martin.
And Martin Short.
I love Martin.
But boy, I don't know what they're doing on this, but it's real white.
You know what? They're making money.
I know that's right.
I ain't mad at them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our emails.
All right.
Thank you very much. If you want to have your thoughts heard here on the Micheaux Mission, feel free. Send us an email at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. And now we are moving into the Game of Kings. Or, as we call it, 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 films or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, that heartthrob of 70s action, kung fu, and love.
And love. And love.
Keeping it in theme, Vincent.
Okay.
We are going to be reviewing tonight Waiting to Exhale.
We are.
So, for tonight's D'Urville Martin, I have selected 2 actors with breathy voices.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. All right. Who we got?
So, you know, it's just a quick aside. Sometimes I do these things, and I love talking to you. But I do them mostly because the audience can't truly appreciate this. To hear Dylan cracking up off camera, off stage.
There you go. You got to have your different audiences.
And I live for that.
Right.
I know I've hit a home run when I
hear him laughing off. Yeah. All right, breathy actors.
Breathy actors.
All right, who we got?
So, in 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to Shohreh Aghdashloo. You'll know her.
I'm about to say, that's my girl from The Expanse.
Yes. Who has been in a few...
No. I know exactly who she's been because you and I had a conversation after The Expanse. And you said I should watch, It's like with, what's her name? That was just...
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
House
of Sand and Fog.
Yes.
Isn't Ben Kingsley in that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, the quick way to get to Ben Kingsley is through Iron Man, but who else is in Sexy Beast?
Is
that Ian McShane?
I think so, because I think that plays like his boyfriend or something like that.
No.
Okay. Do you want me to look up Sexy Beast?
Oh, no, I know. Yeah. Just make sure he's in it.
All right.
You remember that was his line. Boy, I liked him in Sexy Beast. Ben Kingsley was a monster.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while. That's a movie worth returning to.
And I don't know who's in Gandhi with him.
Nobody knows. Sexy Beast is with Ian McShane.
Okay. Let's take the long way home. Hopefully it's not too long. So Derville Martin, I don't want to run out because I'm seeing Ian McShane, but I'm trying to get to Ben Kingsley. That might be too long. Derville Martin, because if I say Derville Martin is in Hitman with Bernie Casey. Bernie Casey is in Cornbread Earl and Me with Lawrence Fishburne. Mm-hmm. Lawrence Fishburne is in The Matrix with how'd you forget Matrix man name? Neo. Oh my God, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves.
I blank on his name too.
Keanu Reeves is in John Wick with Ian McShane, who is in Sexy Beast with Ben Kingsley. So that's 5. And then he's in The House of Sand and Fog, which I've never seen. We've just talked about it.
Okay, with Soraya Adashlu.
Yes.
You really should see that film.
Well, and all jokes aside, I keep meaning to watch it because every time we talk about it, and I really, really like her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was
really
my
my
introduction
to her.
Yeah.
I've loved her in everything.
Yeah.
Especially its Expanse, which is excellent.
Ridiculous.
I got interested. Remind me. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. All right. So, very good. Very good, Vincent. All right. Now, next.
Okay.
In 6 films or less.
Uh-huh.
Connect Derville Martin to another breathy actor.
Okay.
Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, that's tough. Because I always get her mixed up with, I forget the actress. Well, oh my God, the bad thing about Jennifer Tilly, the only thing I really think about her in is the Chucky movies. Mm-hmm. And I have no idea who else is in the Chucky movies.
And you're really selling her filmography short when you just...
No. I know she's in stuff.
She is in... Actually, there's one film that is a certified... cult classic.
I can't nail her down, though.
Her face or...
No, I see her face. I just can't... I don't know what I see her in now. You got to give me something. I don't know what she's in besides the Chucky movies that I think Jennifer... Because it's like... The bad thing is I think about her in the Chucky movies and I'm like, is she why is she slumming in these movies? Well, but then she's like in 37 of them.
There's 2 films I'm going to give you. The first one I'm going to give you is the certified cult classic,
which is
Bound.
I have never actually seen Bound.
Oh my God.
I've never. And is that Kyle MacLachlan?
No.
I was going to say James Spader, but I'm thinking about the secretary.
No. She's in that with oh Jesus. I'm drawing a blank on her name. Gina Gershon. Gina Gershon and Joe Pantoliano are in that film. It's a noir film.
No. I know everybody. All right,
excellent. But the other film, this film is going to be a giveaway. This will get you. She's in Liar Liar.
Is she in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey?
Mm-hmm. She's the one that he is defending.
I have no memory. Of course, I've only seen Liar Liar maybe twice.
Oh, that's a funny movie.
All right. So all right. Let's do Liar Liar. Let's do Liar Liar. Oh, here we go. So, Derville Martin is in Derville Martin is in is it Hell Up in Harlem? Or is Hell Up in Harlem he's in with Fred Williamson, right?
Hold on.
It's either Hell Up in Harlem or Black Caesar. Oh, he's in Black Caesar.
He is in Black
Yeah, he's in Black Caesar with Fred Williamson, who is in Three the Hard Way with Jim Brown. Jim Brown is in Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, who is, of course, in Glengarry Glen Ross with Ed Harris, who is in, and how many have I used? I feel like I'm running.
That's about 4.
So what I say?
You said Black Caesar.
So I said Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, Al Pacino,
Ed Harris
in Glengarry Glen Ross. Ed Harris is in The Truman Show.
Yes.
With Jim Carrey.
Very good.
Who is apparently in Liar Liar.
He is definitely in Liar Liar.
With Jennifer Tilly.
With Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. Jennifer Tilly's a good one. That's a good one. What's the old girl's name in Old School? Remember the one that plays Owen Wilson's wife, who's a swinger?
It's a good one. Hold on. I'll tell you in a second. I've seen that movie once. I know people rave about that film.
But I always get Jen Tilly mixed up with that actress.
That's one of your blind spots there. Are you thinking about Juliette Lewis?
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
I get Jen Tilly mixed up with Juliette Lewis all the time.
Yeah. That's I guess I can see that.
They have similar energy.
Yeah.
That kind of early 90s kind of independent
like little off kilter.
Off kilter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get her mixed up with Juliette Lewis all the time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Jennifer Tilly, I don't know if how much you know about her outside of the Chucky movies.
Isn't she the billionaire? Isn't she a billionaire? Because she was married to the Simpsons guy.
She was married to Sam Simon.
Yeah.
And she's like a professional poker player.
Is she really? See? That's that early 90s energy. Like she's got that early 90s indie movie energy.
Yeah.
Of course she's a professional poker player.
Because she had $1 billion.
$1 billion. Is she actually a professional poker player, or does she just say, I raise you $5 million?
Damn.
Am I bluffing? It's going to cost you $20 million to see. Right. Is she actually a professional poker player?
Good point. Good point. Good point there. But no, and I have a soft spot for Jennifer Tilly because of Bound.
Right. Which, again, I've never seen.
You used to watch it one of your date nights.
Yeah.
Should make that happen with your charcuterie board.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was 6 Degrees of Derville Martin.
All right.
And now it is time for us to turn into our review of Waiting to Exhale. Waiting to Exhale, a 1995 American romantic comedy directed by Forrest Whitaker, and actually his feature film directorial debut, that stars Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett. The film was adapted from the 1992 novel of the same name by Terry McMillan, who also served as one of the co-writers. The cast is rounded out by Layla Rashawn and Loretta Devine, as well as Dennis Haysbert, Michael Beach, Gregory Hines, Donald Faison, a very young Donald Faison, Macaulay Williamson, and a soundtrack that was composed by one Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. And it is worth noting right here at the top, in an uncredited role, Actually, there are 2 uncredited roles in here. This film also has Giancarlo Esposito and Wesley Snipes. In Vincent's selection, as we begin our celebration of Black Women's History Month here on the Micheaux Mission, Vincent, what say you of Waiting to Exhale?
This is a film that as we said at the top is foundational. Like, it's one thing to say that a film is iconic, but I think this is a foundational text when we talk about Black storytelling. And you can see the influence of Waiting to Exhale on almost everything. When you talk about Black women friendships, the way Black women's relationships are depicted, the way professional Black women are depicted. And again, a lot of it's a straight line to this. And there are 2 aspects of this film that I think immediately shine. And you see why it became what it became immediately. First and foremost, I think you can never overemphasize how important this book was.
Yo, boy.
You know, as you said, there's a 1995 film, but it was based on the 1992 book, Waiting to Exhale, that for our younger missionaries, if you weren't there, this thing hit like a lightning bolt.
It was everywhere.
Like it moved the culture. Terry McMillan had already been writing Disappearing Acts. The book right before this was a success. But Waiting to Exhale was the first time in popular culture that you had this story of 4 Black women in current times, professional women, middle-class women, dealing with very contemporary challenges. Like I think one of the things that is sort of fascinating just about the story in this book, the plot, if you will, or rather in this film, and this is reflected in the book as well, there is no big plot.
Right.
Like, Angela Bassett's character, Savannah, is going through a contentious divorce. But even that is really the engine for the rest of her time in this film. Her sort of self-discovery post-divorce and love and kind of becoming this woman that she already was. And then you have these friendships. But again, this was a moment in the culture, both broadly and within the Black community, where no one was really paying attention to this demographic.
That's very true.
And then Black women primarily responded to it. So that this storyline, this story about these 4 women is immediately kind of cemented into the culture. Along those lines, the film adaptation, which is 3 years later, by the time the film went into production, everyone involved knew just how important this was. Like, this isn't a film that became important. This is a film that was important as it was being made. I remember when it came out, Oprah Winfrey had the cast on, talk to them. And the quote from Oprah Winfrey, this was before the Million Woman March in DC. Oprah Winfrey said, "This is like the Black woman's Million Man March." Like, this was a very important moment. And you get the sense that everyone involved in this film was aware of that. As you said, the cast members, it is a parade of male actors. that you see. You know, Giancarlo Esposito, Milicatai Williamson, Dennis Haysbert, Wesley Snipes.
Didn't even mention Leon.
Michael Beach. And each of them bring a different tone and a different performance. But you can tell each actor by actor, a young Donald Faison, they are taking this seriously. They are taking this seriously. Like, I know why I'm here. I know what I'm supposed to do. I am on the side, like I am in a supporting role. Like, you know, one of the radical notions that you see in this film is that all of the men to a man is in a supportive role.
Yes.
Like, I'm here for a scene. I'm here for 2 scenes, maybe 3 scenes. Gregory Hines. We didn't even mention Micheaux mission favorite, Gregory Hines. But I am here in service to these actresses and
their story.
To their stories. Layla Rashawn, I really, really like Layla Rashawn.
Very young in her career.
Very young in her career. And honestly, when you look at Layla Rashawn, who portrays like the young she seems the youngest.
Right, Robin.
You know, Robin is in a lot of ways the character that I would argue kind of has the hardest job. Because on the one hand, her story is the lightest. Like, you get the most comedy out of her. There's a scene with her in Milicatai Williamson that is laugh out loud funny as their quote unquote relationship falls apart, where he plays a cocaine addict that she's in love with. But she also has this kind of sadness underneath where she makes bad decisions over and over again with men until she kind of figures it out. But you never get the sense that she's there just for the comic relief.
Right.
Loretta Devine as
she is
Loretta Devine as Gloria, single woman, you know, divorced, raising Donald Faison, you know, her son Tariq. Really like Loretta Devine here, and I have to say that Loretta Devine is textually seen. She's a bigger woman.
Yes,
you know, she's the bigger woman, and she has this love affair with Gregory Hines, and I like how it's played, where she's still sexualized. Like, she's still, you know, a woman. She has this complicated relationship with her son that I think is dealt with in a really sensitive manner for it to be 1995. Like, this relationship between this single mother and her son that she doesn't want to let go. And again, Layla Rashawn, Loretta Devine, in a lot of ways are the characters where among equals, they're the lesser two.
Yes.
Or they get, and then you kind of have the center two. You have Whitney Houston. This is her second role after The Bodyguard. And, you know, considering The Bodyguard, she's basically playing herself. In a lot of ways, this is her first acting role. And much like The Bodyguard and The Preacher's Wife, you get it. Like, you completely understand why Whitney Houston would go into acting. Because while I don't think that Whitney Houston was the best actress, I do think Whitney Houston had that it factor.
The camera loved her.
The camera loved her, and I think the audience loves her. Like, I think Whitney Houston had that ability to connect. Like, as the audience, you connect with her. And, you know, and as she plays this woman, Savannah, who, you know, has problems with love, has this relationship, quote unquote, with a Dennis Haysbert, has a pretty realistic relationship with her mother, you know, a grown daughter and a mother. You get Whitney Houston. And then kind of doing the heavy lifting is, of course, Angela Bassett. And Angela Bassett as the just divorced Bernie. who Michael Beach, who once again is playing the most awful human being on earth. But it was a period with Michael Beach, between Michael Beach in ER, when he gave his wife HIV, and then he was in this. Michael Beach was the worst human being on earth. And the film, in a lot of ways, it's very episodic. Like, you kind of go from storyline to storyline. And then I think there are only 3 scenes where all 4 actresses are together. Like, you get
not that many. Yeah.
Right. You get these scenes where there are combinations of them. But the scenes where the 4 of them together kind of flow from these 4 storylines that tonally are different. But I got the sense it was almost like an album where, you have a fast song, you have a ballad, you have this kind of song, but it's still a whole album. And I think that the film works in that manner where it's like, it's episodic, but it's like each segment is almost like a song, which is a perfect segue into the soundtrack, which is such an integral part of the storytelling. Like, music sort of textually, you have them, the women are singing, the women are listening to music. There's this ongoing detail where there's a local DJ that's talking. And I think it lends a level of lyricism to the film itself. Forrest Whitaker, I liked him. I like the direction. I don't think he did anything spectacular, but I liked it. Filmed on location in Utah and in Arizona, and I think you get the sense, that kind of almost otherworldliness that you get from these locations, which again kind of lends itself to this lyricism as these women's lives flow into each other, and then they land in a place that, frankly, I think was pretty radical in 1995, where you realize that this film that takes place over a course of a year,
exactly,
they realize that the relationship that's the most important is the one that they have with each other. So that, again, we sit here and we watch these movies, and there are films that I think have these reputations, and then you have to, at some point we circle around and see them. Obviously we've been doing this for many years. We haven't watched this film, but this film has had this reputation, and certainly we've seen film after film after film, television show after television show, book after book, record after record that pulls from this. So then you go to the source and you say, well, how is this the source? Or why is this the source? Or should this be the source? And I have to say, this might be my 3rd time seeing this film. I enjoyed this film, like, just as a film, and I get it. I really enjoyed this film.
I think it's also worth mentioning that this film the book, Waiting to Exhale, comes out in 1992. And it is everywhere. It blows up, and rightfully so, because it is this world that the world at large doesn't pay that much attention to. We've talked about it ad nauseum, that how films and even television, to a degree, pays little concern to the thoughts, the interior motivations of Black women on film or in television, to any great degree. And the book blows up because this one, it's not just one woman, it's 4 women. So you could find yourself, if you were a woman, period, but especially if you're a Black woman, in one of these characters in the book. And the proof of how successful and how groundbreaking that is that look at what follows in the wake of this book. And I'm not just talking about the film adaptation in 95. I'm talking about the following year, you have Living Single, which is the show about 4 single black women, living their lives, which a lot of people know is the show that basically begat Sex in the City, which, and then from there you got Girlfriends as a TV show. There have been other movies that have tried to capture this vibe, even as recently as within the last couple of years, we've had the show Harlem on Amazon. It returns to, this has become a template.
I mean, Insecure kind of settles into the 4 girlfriends.
It does. It does. Because it's right there. The template has been set by Terry McMillan in Waiting to Exhale in the book. And then the movie smartly just, we've talked about some movie adaptations that kind of like veer off from the book in many places. This one pretty much stays true to form from the book. And smartly does it, and like you said, it takes place over the course of a year. You are more or less a fly on the wall into these women's lives, into what is going on. You're catching them making some questionable decisions. You're catching them at with their hair down at the worst parts of their life. Can you imagine getting dressed to going out to a party, and that's when your husband's going to come up and stand in the mirror and say, would you be upset if we don't go to the party? Strike that. Would you be upset if you don't go to the party?
Terrible.
Terrible, but you also want to like, bruh, do you not realize you are saying this to Angela Bassett?
Don't nobody get angry like Angela Bassett,
bro. Unless I am 7'3" Shaquille O'Neal, I am not saying anything. I am not tempting Angela Bassett.
And even then, I think I might text her.
And even then, I'm downstairs. I'm at the door.
Oh, boy.
Baby. Like, no, I am not standing behind her at her vanity where she's got a broom, a brush. She's got a knife. There's broken glass. No.
Oh,
bruh,
boy.
Are you out of your rabbit ass mind?
Yeah.
And then I'm leaving and I'll be back next week for my stuff. Bruh, you have set yourself up.
Yeah.
Of course you've got the iconic shot of when she sets his world on fire.
And again, you can tell on Angela Bassett's face, she knows this image will live forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She knows she's making something iconic.
It's what you know her from.
Yeah.
This and what's got to do with it.
Right.
That's Angela Bassett. So you got that going in this film. You have, for me, you talked about Loretta Devine and how she is sexualized in this film. And if you've been following us on the mission, we've talked about it, it seemed like almost overnight Loretta Devine became like the mother in movies, right? And I've talked about on here how my intro to Loretta Devine was on the first season of A Different World, where I said, my God, man moment, who is that? Because I was like, yo. And this was one of the first movies that I've seen for a long time when Loretta Devine was allowed to be yo. Like, I know, please say he's not watching me walk across the street. Well, if Gregory Hines ain't, I'm letting you know I am. I'm watching you walk across the street, Loretta Devine. Thank you. Man moment over. So I love this movie for that. Layla Rashawn is someone else We talked about earlier in the show today about Angie Stone kind of like getting lost in the sauce of a lot of singers at her time.
Yep.
Layla Rashawn, this is the movie after kind of like her breakout from in Boomerang in a small role. This is kind of like, you know, like they think, okay, I think she can maybe handle this going up against these 3 stars. And she holds her own. She becomes more or less, to me, the audience surrogate in a lot of ways in this film. But you're right. Her story is probably the lighter one, but there is definitely this tinge of sadness because she is making real questionable decisions. And you're like, oh, baby, like, you know, you want...
right. Like you feel protective.
Yeah. You're like, oh, baby, no, baby, no. I mean, okay, all right. Yes, I understand Leon, he would make me think twice too, but come on, baby, no. But he also do look like the devil.
Right.
Like, no. And like, you know, and we didn't even mention him, but anytime you got Wendell Pierce just coming booping, I'm like,
Make better decisions with your own life.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Like there's no reason why he should even know you have a bedroom.
Yeah.
Like come on. Yeah. But she's doing that work. She's doing that work. Angela Bassett, you're right. She is kind of like holding everything together. But I think the movie does a little bit of disservice to her because, like you said, most of the engine of her story is the divorce from her husband, and rightfully so. But because of that, she is a lot of times seen as just either at an 8 or a 10, like as far as like, you know, anger and feeling stuff and like, you know, just like right. And that can sometimes, if you're always like that, get a little played, right? But fortunately, this movie, we talk about the movies within a movie. This movie takes time to stop and give you this short little vignette between Angela Bassett and Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Uncredited, in what may be some of the best acting Wesley Snipes has done in a career of doing pretty good, phenomenal acting, but presenting easily the best acting in this movie. Because in that little vignette, when the two of them meet at this bar and expose themselves and are vulnerable with one another, you see finally Angela actually acting against someone and now being allowed to show different sides of her character, Bernie, against Wesley. And now you feel for her. Now and in that moment, that's when I really felt her pain. You know, I was feeling anger, but now I was feeling her pain. I was feeling, you know, and that's when it really resonated with me. And I was so much so, you say this all the time, I could have stayed with those two, watched their entire conversation at the bar, going to the elevator, going upstairs to the room, how they fell asleep with one another. You know, I would have stayed there. That would have been the movie for me. I would have loved it for that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this movie doesn't stay there because then it introduces, and not soon before or not long after, it introduces Gregory Hines as the man across the street for Loretta Devine. And even though you don't see as much of him as I would have liked,
of course,
in this film, you see enough, one, to know that Gregory Hines was a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it before, but Gregory Hines, he's maybe in 4 scenes in this movie, but he embodies that character immediately. You know who he is. Immediately you recognize who he is in this film, who he is in Loretta Devine's life, and every time you see him on screen, you can feel the advancement in their relationship,
right?
Even though you're not told it,
right?
Even though,
right, absolutely,
you feel the passage of, oh, they're getting closer, they're getting closer, and that is a tribute to how beastly he is, because like I said, he's only in 4 scenes, and he really doesn't even have that many lines.
No.
You know, it's
a lot of it is physical.
A lot of it is just the physicality, and that is which makes sense knowing that he's a dancer,
right? We always
so it's
go
all
back
about
to that.
in that body.
Yeah.
But like, my God, and to be able to. Loretta Devine, to be fair, is still pretty young in her movie career at this moment.
Yeah, but she's a seasoned stage actress.
Definitely. But to see those two, I'm like, okay, let me stay here for a minute,
right?
Because I can be here too,
right?
Like, for me, that's your movie. Layla Rashawn is lifting up everybody else that she's in the scene. It's a young Wendell Pierce, so he's still doing his thing, but he's basically comedy relief. Leon. He's snake oil Leon. That's what Leon is. All right?
Right.
You know, when Leon's on screen, you know what you're getting.
Sure.
And he gives it to you.
Sure. Good looking guy.
Great looking guy.
Good looking guy.
I looked at him.
That's his thing.
Good
looking guy.
Most definitely. And that's it.
Leon as good looking guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and Michaela Williamson, you know what you're getting. Excellent actor. He's like, oh, I'm comedy relief, but I'm a bad guy. Watch me work.
I'm a cokehead. Oh, I can do that.
Ain't nothing but Tuesday. Come on, man. Well, I get to throw oranges. Come on, man. Like, I'm like, he's having a ball, man. What? I don't need a shirt in this sleeve? Come on, man.
I laughed so hard at that scene.
It's so good. It's so good. You mean you can't go and see my mama?
And my son. Son?
How old is he? 1, 2, 3.
13? Oh, boy.
Oh, and shout out to Layla Rashawn, who nails it.
Look.
Right there in that scene.
Yeah.
Right there in that scene. So, I'm in the bag. The camera loves Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Thank God the camera loves Whitney Houston. Because I don't love Whitney Houston in this movie. Now, I don't think, we've talked about it, I don't think she's the strongest actress. I don't think she's good in this movie at all. I don't think that
Really?
No, I don't think that she has, I think she has zero chemistry with Dennis Haysbert. But to be fair, I don't think Dennis Haysbert is doing much.
I was
either.
about to say that's more on Dennis Haysbert than.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, but I've seen Dennis Haysbert be good.
And I also think that's the character.
Whose character?
I think Dennis Haysbert's character is supposed to have this bit of. I got the sense that Savannah was told by her mother, you're supposed to be with him.
Obviously, yeah.
Because he's a tall, good-looking, he's a good man, Savannah. Like, that's the whole meme and all.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were supposed to really have a lot of chemistry. And the reason I say that, well, I'll let you finish because
Go ahead. So what you say?
Because I do like Whitney Houston with the other actresses. Like, I got the sense, much like you said, you could see the passage of time between Loretta Devine and Gregory Hines. I really admired her because remember, Savannah was new to the crew because she came from out of town. I really liked as the film went on, they became this foursome. And as I said, the four of them aren't together, but you have scenes, obviously, between Angela Bassett and Whitney Houston. And, obviously you go to Angela Bassett's doing all the heavy lifting. But I like the couple of scenes, the phone call, and when Layla Rashawn's character talks about her abortion between Whitney Houston and Layla Rashawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like their scenes together. So,
see, that's interesting because,
like, I like those scenes a lot.
I like the scene where Layla Rashawn is telling her about the abortion because that's Layla Rashawn's scene. The scene where they're on the phone call, I hate the staging of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very amateurish.
Yeah. What's that weird splits?
Yeah, with the mirror, and then it cuts for some stupid reason.
I think he was trying to be cute.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
No, Forrest.
Yeah, easy. This is your first film, man.
Yeah, slow down. But I don't think that they register well in that scene, in that phone call. I don't. I think you're right. Angela Bassett does a heavy lifting when she's with Whitney Houston, but I think that Whitney Houston look.
And I really liked all four of them together. Like, I thought the four of them together, they struck me as girlfriends.
Well, yes, they definitely were girlfriends because only girlfriends would know that in the scene where all of them are dancing, we all have to dance in front of Whitney because Whitney can't dance.
Yes.
So that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I also... Whitney Houston, the actor, famously had some troubles that she was going through while she was filming this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think those are noticeable in her performance.
Where?
I think that there are times where she does not look like she is 100% very present on screen. And the film famously did shut down for a moment because she had to deal with some of these
absolutely,
demons.
absolutely.
And I think that there were scenes where she is not. I don't think that she is present. I think there are ADR is something that happens in movies all the time, right? It's where people or you have to dub over lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a lot of overdubbing on Whitney Houston that is. I would guess that a lot of that is because they weren't getting it there on set and they had to bring her back in because she does not look present in a lot of scenes.
Is she better in another movie?
Is she better in another movie?
Does she give me a performance that you think is better than this one?
I think she's.
You think she's better in Preacher's Wife?
I think she's better in A Preacher's Wife. Yes. And I think even though she's pretty much playing herself, I think she's better in Bodyguard.
I don't think she's better in Bodyguard. I may be forgiving it, the Dennis Haysbert stuff, because I really do think that's part of the story. And I liked her relationship with her mom.
Yeah, but I like over the phone. I mean, what are you talking about with relationship?
Over the phone. The mom. She gave her performance,
okay, well,
and that struck me as real.
Okay, it didn't for me.
Yeah,
it not enough to pull me away from the film,
mm-hmm.
but it was a distraction for me
mm-hmm.
in watching the film, because as the second lead, she is in the majority of the other scenes that aren't Angela Bassett,
mm-hmm.
you know? So because so much is focused around her, I did find that to be a bit of a distraction. But at the end of the day, I too am like you. I like the film. Did it bother me to a degree, and this is looking through it from a 21st century lens,
mm-hmm.
that all of their troubles, as they were speaking of, were about men?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but that's from a 21st century lens.
And that's the story, though.
But and I also recognize that that's the story.
Right.
So I let go of that. You know, that's what the story is about. It's about their relationship with men, how they are dealing with this. And I appreciated that.
And landing on
that it's more about them.
It's more, right, this is way more important
mm-hmm.
than these men.
Yes. And that was the most important.
Right. Which, to your point, I think that's what would have bothered. Like, it would have bothered me if it kind of landed on all of them had to pair off
mm-hmm.
and live happily ever after.
Yes.
With a man.
Yes.
which, unfortunately, a lot of the successors to this film
fall into that trap.
Have not been brave enough.
That's the word.
To come to the conclusion that Terry McMillan did in 1992. The important, I think a lot of the films that are the legacy of this kind of paid lip service to, it's really my girls who are really the important part. But it's always, it's always like Lorenz Tate shows up in the last episode and they run off and get married or something.
Well, or to your point, they actually pay literal lip service to that. You'll hear like some voiceover speaking to that, or someone will say like, well, it's all about you, it's all about us, or something like that. This film lands there, but it shows it. The girl, they don't say
right.
It's all about us. No, you just see it. You feel it in that moment with them as they are, celebrating New Year's Eve at the end of the film, as opposed to at the top. So I appreciate that. You talk about the bravery. Lesser films have the post-credit scene of Angela Bassett on her way to Wesley Snipes.
Right.
But they never meet up again.
Right.
He sends her a letter.
And
tells her how much he appreciates, recognizes what they meant to one another. But that's it.
Well, the irony is the only one that ends up with a man is
Loretta,
the one who wasn't really looking and
who in the film loses her man, which is her son,
right.
going off to,
right.
Do his thing.
Right.
So, yeah. So would you recommend that people see?
Not only would I recommend it, but I will say this, just, I was on a panel last week with, shout out to WURD. And,
our girl Tanya.
And Tanya Pendleton, our good friend Tanya Pendleton, was the moderator, and she and I got to talk a little bit. And I told her we were doing Waiting to Exhale, and she said, oh, y'all should have, you should have women on when you review it, which I can appreciate that sentiment that this is a woman's text. This is aimed towards women. This is, very much a woman-centered text. But I also think it's important that people who aren't Black women, and particularly Black men, champion the work of Black women and the work that's aimed towards Black women. Because I do think part of the challenge with a lot of this work, and we'll talk about this all month, is it almost gets balkanized, and we say, oh, this is their stuff, and almost inherently we kind of make it lesser than.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I thought it was important that the two of us, that we do this, we talked about this on its own merits, not as something representative, not as something symbolic, but as a film that stands on its own. And again, I think this is a film that is frankly known more for its legacy, than for its merits as a film. And it happened immediately, like I said at the top, like when it was it was a fanfare about the film before the film was even in production. Who's going to play the roles? Who's going to direct it? Who's going to do the soundtrack? This, that, and the other. So that almost eclipses the film.
Yeah.
And I do think, and I'll let you speak for you, obviously, but I'll speak to you even with the reservations that you have with Whitney Houston. This film stands on its own merits.
Yes, it does.
And I would absolutely recommend it for its status as a film. And then if you are interested in Black film, again, this is foundational. Yeah. Like, this is in the DNA of so many films that you kind of have to watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another thing I want to point out is something else radical about this is that you have these 4 leads in these films, and these are 4 brown women.
It's
worth pointing that out.
That is worth pointing out.
These are 4 brown women leading this film.
Another aspect that many of the successors can't say. And again, Layla Rashawn as the quote unquote heavier one. Mm-hmm. She's not the comic relief.
You mean Loretta Devine?
I'm sorry, Loretta Devine. She's not the comic relief. She's not the butt of the jokes. She's not, again, comically over sexualized.
I was going to say, yeah.
That you see all the time with these characters. She has the nerve to be humanized. And again, I am part of this foursome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it. Oh, yeah. I was just going to say another great thing about her character is that she is the mother in here, but she also is a mother, like she's not the mother that knows all. She mothers her friends a little bit because she definitely plays like a mothering role a little bit to Bernie, Angela Bassett's character. But she still has flaws. She still has doubts. She still has, learns, develops.
Look,
I
know we're supposed to be wrapping this up. I really enjoyed the light touch of the exploration of that dynamic between her and her son Tariq, and that that kind of bit of toxicity, that happens sometimes, and how she realizes it. I thought Donald Faison did a good job in this role, seeing that anger that he has towards his father, resentment towards his mother, trying to hold him back, but all tempered by this genuine love. Like there's this moment where he kisses her while she's asleep and says happy birthday, and he tells her happy birthday. That's so sweet.
Yeah. And I also like that, I'm sorry to cut you off. I also like that his father, played by Giancarlo Esposito, is not demonized in this movie.
No.
At all. He is someone who is coming to his own truth.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not played around with at all.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
No.
It's up front. It's there. It's dealt with, and then it's moved on. It doesn't become like this talking point for the rest of the film in any type of way, or this chip on someone's shoulder or anything. So it's smart. It's like very intelligent movie. I would definitely recommend watching Waiting to Exhale. If you've seen it, it's been a while since you've seen it. It's worth revisiting. It is really, like you said, it is the template. And sometimes you have to return to the template so you can remember, how did this get made? And there you go. So Waiting to Exhale. All right. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week here in Black Women's History Month on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you to share your thoughts with us via email at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION or you can find us on all your social media, Instagram or Facebook at Micheaux Mission. You can always find us on YouTube at Micheaux Mission, where you can subscribe and hit the bell and be notified of when we go live or when we put up videos and shorts on our YouTube channel. You can also find the Micheaux Mission on your favorite podcast platform, whether that be Apple or Spotify or wherever you find podcasts. You can find the Micheaux Mission. Our episodes are up every Thursday, and on Tuesdays we have Mission Log, the best of the Micheaux Mission. We actually missed our posting for today, but there will be a best of the Micheaux Mission next week as we continue revisiting the Micheaux Mystic connection. We're right at the point where we're in the review of our Dolomite films, and trust me, coming up right after that, we will present our review of Acrimony, because so many people have been talking about it. So you will soon find out what people have been talking about on Mission Logs. That goes up every Tuesday on our podcast feed. All right. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate. The Podglomerate, they make podcasts work, such as ours, which streams every Tuesday night live right here from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself and your crew in one of the many studios that they have here at Young Junk, you can get in touch with our producer Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com, and he will book you where you need to be. All right. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, there's still some time. You can check out Vincent and I and our good friend Stephanie Watts of the Be Real Micheaux screening series tomorrow night, 7 p.m. live at Bryn Mawr Film Institute, where we will be screening from 1994, Alma's Rainbow. Great indie film.
It is.
And
it is.
Promises to be a great time with free pretzels at Bryn Mawr Film Institute. Tickets are on sale at brynmarfilm.org. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, we go to the year of 2023 to what I like to describe. You talked about the lyricism of this film, Waiting to Exhale. Wait till you see writer-director Raven Jackson's beautiful tale of one woman's life in All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, one of the best films of 2023. Guarantee I cannot wait to revisit this film. And this will be your first time seeing it.
It is.
I can't wait to
very much looking forward to
hear what you think of this film. Next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.